Would you rather have $30 million or 30 million friends? I don't know about you, but for me, I would rather have 30 million friends than $30 million for just the most simple point of like, hey, bro, can you spot me five? Boom, 30 million just turned to 150 million. And this is the power of a network. In this episode, we're going to be diving into networking. And if you don't network, you're going to be pretty screwed because you might as well network or just die. This episode is about networking. So the power of a network is very, very, very powerful. And this comes into the old adage of your network equals your net worth, right? And another famous saying is, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And this all come into different sayings, and I'm sure I can continue on the list, as I'm sure you likely could too, about the power of a network and what that can do for you. Because one of the improper narratives that, especially for my generation, has been pushed forward is this idea of, hey, if you work hard, boom, you'll be successful. And I mean, not to say that that isn't definitely true. You must work hard if you want to be successful, but there's a necessity for hard work and the level of education, plus the network and the connections that you have, and of course them doing some extra work for you to help you either just know about more things or be aware of more things or keep certain other things in mind because of the network that you have. Your network is like a safety net in a lot of ways, because let's say that you have a job and something happens that you end up losing this job. Your network will be your safety net, because this way you can definitely go and ask someone for help. One of your friends or one of your connections might have a job, an opening in their company or the company that they work at that they know that you would be a perfect position for. I know for myself, when I was first stepping out of one of the first sales jobs I had ever held, it made it very easy for me to make a transition, because although I left, and I probably could have left having more of a clear game plan for myself, I was able to leverage my network. And thanks to my network, I was able to immediately find another job, then another opportunity, then another opportunity that eventually landed me into a really great six-figure opportunity. And then from there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, businesses that I built, and now obviously where we are currently with the show. So this, again, all comes back from the power of a network. And heck, you can take it out of the context of just trying to survive from an employee standpoint, but especially if you're a business owner or you're in sales, a network is critical because people buy from those that they like. And so this comes into then the power of a power base, that being those that know you, know of you, that you're aware of, that are aware of you. Because when it comes to networking, the average home in America has about 3.8 people. Not quite 4, but basically imagine 2 parents, 2 kids. That's a typical household. So if you were to then go out and meet one other person, you technically have met 4 people, not just one, because they have a family or a few other people, again, the average household. And then from there, each one of them will know at least another household. So realistically, if you can meet one person, it's like you're meeting 8 people or like 10 people. And so when it comes to the idea of having 30 million friends or a network of 30 million, it's like, how do you meet and connect with 3 million people? And not to say that 3 million people is a small amount of people. That's half of Miami. Miami's about 6 million people. But what is worth it is the network, because they will be doing something or know of something that you will need to know of or may eventually be doing. And the network will come in so in handy that, especially if you are taking on a new sales job, there are going to be people that'll buy from you just simply because they want to buy from you. And if you're sitting there and you're thinking back on people in the past, like, someone that bullied you, or maybe you bullied them, I'd encourage you to still try and reach out and try and nurture that friendship, nurture that relationship, because a lot of times people forget and they get over it, especially if you were the one being bullied. That person might be a lot more receptive to you, because especially over the course of time, they might feel bad having reflected on their actions and being a jerk to you, because they were kids, you were kids, and whatever the case scenario may be. But networking is so critical, because this is how us as humans continue to grow, through collaboration, through the help of a network. There's no such thing as being self-made. It's total bullshit. Self-made is just not true. It comes from the power of your network. And the stronger that network, the bigger that network. I mean, the same thing with skyscrapers. You need a strong foundation, and the bigger a foundation to give for a larger edifice or a larger building or a larger whatever to grow upon that foundation. And network is really what offers that, and what will dramatically change your life. So then when it comes to it is, how do you network? Because especially in the modern age, there's two ways to go about networking. Number one is to network using social media. It really has done a fantastic job of just dramatically shrinking the world, because yes, there are 7 to 8 billion people, and there are 2.8 billion people connected to social media. And so considering that, there's a lot of people out there. So especially if you can just be consistent with your social media and using that as a tool, you can really dramatically, massively grow your network. I remember when I was out in Hawaii with my business partner, Nick, and together when we were out there in Hawaii, it was a lot simpler for us to network with a lot of people, because we used social media. We made a bunch more friends. We went to different networking events and other things that we found out about through the leveraging of social media to network. And that started opening up a lot of doors for us while we were there. And then the other way is, like, for example, when we were in Atlanta, we just went ahead and Googled networking in Atlanta. And then boom, we started going to networking events and meeting more people local to the area. That has helped us land a few other gigs. And so networking is where things will dramatically move. Heck, I can even put this into a philanthropic sense. I remember when I was a student at FSU, I was in Dance Marathon. It was a philanthropy, a charity for the Children's Miracle Network, working with Shands Hospital down in Gainesville. And one of the things that made it dang easy for me to fundraise a lot of money for them was because between one fraternity and my other fraternity and 8 other organizations, 5 of which I held a leadership position on, plus just like going to classes and stuff, and then of course my social media made it very, very, very easy to literally make a post on my story and be like, hey, who can spot me $2, $5? And over the course of a year, those things add up. That's 100 people giving you $5, boom, $500. That's pretty significant. And it's as simple as that. And then of course is the consistency in asking. But all of this comes from a network. And so then if you happen to be sitting there and you're just like, yeah, Eddie, I can understand the importance of a network, but for some reason I feel like I have a hard time finding the right types of people, or establishing quality relationships, establishing quality friendships, really feeling like I'm building a network and not just like spinning my wheels. Well, if you feel that way, first I would encourage you to look at yourself. What are you doing or not doing that would make you come off a certain way to other people? How are you operating? Are you being somewhat narcissistic in the sense of, like, when you go into a conversation, do you spend the entire time just talking about you, which will be great because then they will know a lot about you, but then they may not feel heard by you, and so then they may not actually feel like there's a connection with you. The thing that I'm referencing is, like, if you read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, really awesome book when it comes to winning friends and influencing people. And a lot of it comes through the art of listening, really just listening, being intentional, not interrupting, and asking really great questions and allowing them to have your time. Because when you give that time, that can be very powerful, because people will feel that, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so it's important that when you are networking, that you are bringing some sort of value to them, whether that be emotional, because they can tell that you care and are listening, or whether that be financial, because they know that they get to make more money because of XYZ. Whatever the case scenario, ultimately networking requires a payoff. And the difference between when I say networking and not just like friendship building is because sometimes, and I've experienced this, I don't know if you have, but sometimes certain friends may take on resentment as you are up leveling or changing or growing. And that's completely normal. And eventually they'll swing back around because maturity just takes time. But so when it comes to networking, this is very much typically in a business context. So if anyone's ever getting butthurt or acting a certain way, I mean, that just gives you a good sign to like hold off on them for a bit and let them figure their own shit out. Because anytime anyone's ever getting salty or aggressive, it's typically not you, it's typically them. Or in the same way, if you are ever getting salty in other people, it's probably you, it's probably not them. Because you have your life and everyone else has their lives. And the point of networking is that you continue on in yours and I continue on in mine. And although we may not speak for a year or two, that when you and I can connect again, that we can pick up where we left off. That's going to be a great relationship, a good friendship, because the reality is I know for myself, the main people I'm going to be definitely talking to all the time are my family and my business partners and my like absolute best friends. And even then, it's kind of tough for me to talk to my best friends every single day, but definitely like with my family and my business partners, yeah, we're going to be in constant communication, but that's just how the life is. And so building a network is a large group of people from wherever that you can go to, get help from, direction through, and grow with, or can leverage to allow you to grow faster. And that is going to be the most powerful piece when you're building a business, either in making initial sales, taking on initial investments, just getting general product reviews, and especially just having that general credibility. Because I know for myself, as we go ahead and wrap this up, a network has dramatically changed my life because, frankly, I don't feel like I have a lot of people that doubt me quite as much. Maybe there definitely are some, but at least I've noticed that over the course of time, my family, my friends, my network are pretty much always very supportive and excited of me and what I end up doing, just because I have spent years trying to always stay on a good note with everyone, because I'm of the belief that you are not going to die anytime soon and I am not going to die anytime soon. So it only makes the most sense to continue building my network and stay on as good of terms as possible with every single human being I ever come into contact with, because I'm going to live till I'm 80 plus and you'll live till you're 80 plus, and the average person that I will meet will live till they're 80 plus. And there is definitely something that we can do together over the course of the next 60 years. For sure. And that is the power of a network. Over the course of time, being able to collaborate and create something better for you, for them, for each other. And so again, this is the power of a network. And if you don't network, you might as well die, because you're definitely going to. So why not have a ton of people to help you in the process of life? You don't have to pay everyone, but if they're in your network and they know you, they'll end up liking you and you will end up liking them, and business can happen and collaboration will occur and change will prosper. Networking is absolutely critical, and this is how. So make sure you go out there, make new friends, put yourself out there, make new connections, build your network, and always remember to be present, love deeply, and aim higher. If this episode was useful to you, please do make sure to hit that subscription button, the notification bell, so that you know when we drop episodes every Monday and every Thursday, so that you can stay in tune with each additional Gen Ed class as they get released. Make sure to share this onto the social medias and follow us on our different social medias that you can find in the description below, and we will see you on the next one.